live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Come on!
It is the Pregame Show. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Just getting off work, getting ready for work. Just getting back to the normal routine if you had a long vacation through the holidays. Appreciate you stopping on by here this morning. I'm your host for the next hour, Joe Spadoni, and we got a lot to get to. One might say we have an awful lot to get to. And I don't know where we want to start. Because I come in here and I sit down and, I'm going through everything. I'm cleaning up the monitor, what was on the screen. Grandy was in there yesterday doing a great job, Warriors pre and post. And I just see the title shift from yesterday's stream. Worst loss for the Warriors this season. I was like, has that been the title like 10 different times this season? Like, we keep finding a new way for the Warriors to lose in horrible fashion. And yesterday, it was to the Memphis Grizzlies. No John Morant. No Desmond Bane. No Marcus Smart. I know, it doesn't work as much. He's not in Boston, so it doesn't really work. I can't do it. Don't ask me to do a Tennessee accent. That's just not going to happen. They have Jaren Jackson Jr., all right. But he didn't even play well. Well, at least offensively. My guy had 4 steals, block, 5 assists. Shooting wasn't there. Got to the free throw line. I think we're finally just realizing for the Warriors, and maybe some of you haven't. Maybe some of you are still, pushing back. I get it. As Thanos once said, reality is often disappointing. And the reality for the Golden State Warriors right now, they're just not good. It's as simple as that. It's just tough to watch. Speaking of tough to watch, as I look at highlights from last night's game, I don't know what was worse, the Warriors' defense last night or the Eagles' defense. Oh my God. Are you kidding me with that effort? I'm looking at Jason Kelce, who just announced his retirement, I guess, last night to the team. All-Pro center, future Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. Obviously won the Super Bowl with the Eagles back in 2016, or was it 2017, whatever it was, against Tom Brady. He's crying on the field. I'm almost cried because of just how bad the defense was. Whiff after whiff after whiff. Vanilla offense. 3 and out. 3 and out. Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans. Rashad White. Todd Bowles. Nick Sirianni made Todd freaking Bowles, and I'm not, here to rag on Todd Bowles. He's not known as one of the best head coaches in the league. But you know what? Last night it wasn't even close. That team that wears the Philadelphia Eagles uniform flat out quit on their coach. That was embarrassing. And you could go back all the way to when San Francisco invaded Philadelphia, tapped that ass, got Big Dom out of there, and they haven't recovered since. Deebo Samuel, the 49ers, went full Shang Tsung, Mortal Kombat. Your soul is mine, Nick Sirianni. Night, night, see you later. And that's all she wrote for the Philadelphia Eagles. One and done in the playoffs after going to the Super Bowl. And I want to hear from the Niners fans, how good did that feel? You broke that team. You broke them. Mentally, physically, broke them. And they never recovered. Ever. Their high watermark from the season was beating a at the time, downtrodden Buffalo Bills squad in the rain, in overtime. And it was a great game, but that was their high watermark. Now, questions around Nick Sirianni. Is he going to be gone? Which would be nuts. I mean, I got to look it up. Outside of some sort of scandal, I don't know. Has there been a head coach who was just in a Super Bowl a year prior get fired the following year after the season? My crack staff will get on that. My pregame show listeners, that is. 888-957-9570. And good morning to all of you on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Kyle Kelly, Wrestling is Dopamine. I love that name. Vel Mack, Big Sneaky, El Guero, all you guys. Appreciate you. Yes, El Guero, the Warriors lost to the G League Grizzlies. Not good. But they didn't lose a playoff game in this fashion like the Philadelphia Eagles did. Earlier that day, in a snow-fallen Buffalo home game, you had the Bills taking out the Steelers. It got a little dicey there for a second, but please. Mason Rudolph, he wasn't coming through in that game. Josh Allen, hey. No turnovers in a playoff game. That's got to be a first for Josh. No turnovers. If he could play clean football and the Bills can be opportunistic on defense, they could be talking about Lombardi. Now, they have a date next week against the guy that's been the class of the conference, class of the NFL, that being Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. But the difference this time around, Bills don't have to go to Arrowhead. Bills get to stay home. And that's the sexiest matchup, right, of the weekend. I know we're here local, Niners, Saturday night, Packers, two iconic brands. I get that. But you got Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, Bills, Chiefs, with the potential trip to Baltimore on the line, or a potential to host an AFC championship game if CJ Stroud, D'Amico Ryans can pull off the upset. And I'm not sleeping on that. Would I bet on it? Probably not. Would I be shocked? No. Not the way CJ Stroud's playing. Like, you can't tell me after that game he had against the Browns that you're still sleeping on this guy and their potential of knocking out the Baltimore Ravens. Browns had just as good, if not a better statistical year on defense than the Baltimore Ravens. Just ask Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. That defense is no joke. And Stroud just eviscerated it. So I cannot wait for playoff football this upcoming weekend. But the storylines out of yesterday. Warriors, the new worst loss of the year. Eagles, could they potentially be moving off Sirianni? They have major question marks. Jalen Hurts looks broken. I just go back to that San Francisco 49ers game when they visited them. Debo talked the talk and he walked the walk. And I saw all those secondary players for the Eagles, James Bradbury, all these guys that were in some of the smack talk. But the effort, the tackling, I was listening to Ray Lewis, who was on with the Manning cast, because they did a Manning cast, obviously, the last game of the year on ESPN. And he was just saying, this is fundamentals. This is just a lack of, stuff we learned when we were doing Pee Wee football. Sprinting to the ball immediately when it's caught from the opposing receiver. They couldn't even do that right. And that's the definition of a front-running team. And that's from top to bottom in an organization when you have a front-running team. It starts with the head coach. And there might not be a more ultimate front runner in sports right now than Nick Sirianni. And it pains me to do this to a fellow Paisan. It pains me. But he's got to go. He's got to. I mean, that team flat out quit in a playoff game. And if you're, the owner, if you're Jeffrey Lurie, if you're Howie Roseman watching that, I don't know how you come back from that. I really don't.
He's an Italian.
I know. It hurts.
Italian Philly coach.
He was not in the zone, as Tony in Oakland would say. But speaking of being in the zone, that's what the 49ers hope to be in this Saturday night. And can you have scripted, pardon me, could you have scripted a better bracket for the 49ers? I don't think you could have. Honestly. Your three most hated teams gone before you even take a snap in the playoffs. Cowboys, Eagles, Rams. McCarthy, well, in this case, Jerry Jones for Niner fans. Sean McVay. And now Nick Sirianni. You could have drawn it up better. And now you await Jordan Love and the Packers. And it's a cute story. It's fun. They're night for them. And then maybe the Lions. And the Lions might give you some trouble. They might give you some problems. We'll wait to see if they could, come back after that emotional high of getting their first playoff home win in 50 bajillion years. Baker and Co. won't be an easy out. I feel confident in saying that. That defense is legit for Tampa Bay, and they got enough on offense. Mike Evans, I mean, my God. Shad White, Chris Godwin. I'm not sleeping on Tampa Bay next week. And it's in a dome. So you could potentially be looking at, and I don't care if I'm getting ahead of myself. You could potentially be looking at a San Francisco hosting Tampa Bay. And not Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, and Todd Bowles. And we all know what happened last year when he hosted Tampa Bay and Brock Purdy's first ever start in the NFL, a man named Brady. And they were chanting not his name, but Brock Purdy's name throughout Santa Clara. So it's setting up beautifully for them. Juxtaposed out with the AFC, that's a gauntlet. That's going to be hard-hitting, potentially high-scoring, tough football. And I think there's going to be pounds of flesh taken from every one of those rounds. And whether it be the Chiefs, whether it be the Ravens, Bills, Texans, maybe they go on a miracle run, I think they are going to be so downtrodden against whatever NFC, I predict the Niners, opponent they will be facing in the Super Bowl in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. But still weeks away. Got to take care of business this Saturday. And by the way, speaking of taking care of business. Taking care of business. Oh, where's my sheet of paper? Do we got that? Got one in here? No. I'm trying to look for it. Yeah, that's all right. Basically, we're doing this contest, guys. And we've been teasing the contest. All right? Starting today. Yes, today. We're giving you a chance. 3 chances, in fact, to qualify to win a Christian McCaffrey signed jersey. It's pretty sweet. So, gotta listen. Morning roast, 7:30 to 8:30. You gotta be listening between that time because they're gonna say the key word and they're gonna give you the word to text to qualify. All right? So it's not gonna be one of those where you're on Twitch, where you're on YouTube, right? Where you're just looking around and we're just gonna, try to boost our numbers. No. You can be listening on YouTube and Twitch. We encourage that. There's a slight delay, but that's all right. If you don't want to watch, that's fine. But I urge you to download the Odyssey app or do the old-fashioned way Be in the car, radio, wherever you have one. Because at 7:30 between 8:30, morning roast, 12:30 to 1:30, Steiny Goo, and between 4:30 and 5:30, Willard and Dibs. Those will be your chances today to try and qualify to win the Christian McCaffrey signed jersey. So you have 3 opportunities. And you can text every single one of them. You don't have to stop. So they give you the keyword for Steiny Goo, text it. Willard Dibs, text it. Morning Roast, text it. All of it. 3 times. So you get 12 opportunities to qualify this week. 3 today, 3 tomorrow, 3 the next day, 3 the next day. Between those times, once more, 7:30 to 8:30, Morning Roast, 12:30 to 1:30, Steiny and Goo, 4:30 to 5:30, Willard and Dibs. Be listening for the keyword, and you can win this Christian McCaffrey autographed jersey. Should I hold it up? No, I'm a solo show. Doesn't work. I'm not going to be yelling across them. It just doesn't. Tag team shows, I can deal with that. There's only one solo show here, 95.7 The Game. Not including Warriors Live and Warriors Wrap Up. Shout out Mark Randy and Evan Giddings doing a hell of a job. They have to be doing a hell of a job talking about this team as we pivot back to the Warriors. I mean, this is a Memphis Grizzlies team that was 3-15 at home, 14-25. They're going to be a lottery team. I think it's safe to say. Again, no Ja, no Marcus Smart, no Desmond Bane. But they go out there and just absolutely lay a shellacking on you. Now, I know. We're going to go point at the free throw total, and Stephen Curry did as much yesterday. I get it. It's frustrating. But the Warriors don't have that benefit of the doubt right now. I'm not giving them, they didn't foul that many times. Well, they might have. They're old, they're not athletic, and they reach a lot. That's what they do. That's what they've done this year. So yeah, the free throw disparity, 40-10, pretty eye-opening. Should have been that much? Probably not. But you know what? I'm not crying boo-hoo about it. Because the Warriors haven't earned that. If they were a, 22-18 kind of a team, right? Or 25-15, sure. I'd be like, that's a little ridiculous. But the way they're playing right now, I'm not getting upset over that. Just not. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all you lovely people on the Comcast Business text line. What are you feeling like this morning? Because there's one side of me that wants to keep ripping the Eagles. And that's probably better for a lot of Bay Area fans' mindsets. More so than ripping the Golden State Warriors. And I have a feeling the Morning Roast is going to, utilize the prior rather than the latter in regards to a lot of their content. But they got to have some time to talk about the Warriors today. I don't have time for the football, all of it, because Brian Baldinger is going to join the guys at 7:30 as he does each and every Tuesday. Brian Baldinger, one of the best to do it. It's all right, Sam. I know you're doing a lot back there. I can just take this one. Let's see who's calling in. I'll take him right now blind. It's all right. I potted it up. You're good. Who's on the phone right now? You're on the pregame show. Yeah. Who I got here?
This Cameron from Antioch.
Hey, what's up, Cam? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing this morning?
Good. I appreciate you calling in. What do you got, man?
It's gotten too much. Steve Kerr has to go. I don't care if he resigns, but he needs to be fired before the trade deadline. He cannot coach this team. He does not know what he's doing with the rotations, calling timeouts. He started off good in 2015, but he really just took Mike Jackson what he had. But this is getting too much. He's playing Corey Joseph over Kuminga. Like, this shit is crazy. I cannot deal with this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Can't be saying that, even at 5 a.m. It's all right. Appreciate Cam's passion, though. I can hear the disdain in his voice.
That's the risk of taking cold calls there.
But you know what? But I had you back there, so it was okay. He could have been anyone. We probably would have taken his call anyways. He probably still would have said that. It's all right. It is what it is. People feel relaxed here, Sam. That's what I get from these. Was it my guy Alex in San Jose that one time? But Steve Kerr is out. Warriors fans, do you come out of that game and say Steve Kerr is the problem after that performance? I mean, I get it to an extent, but also the players too. Like, we can sit here and, bitch and moan all we want about the coaching and all this sort of stuff, and I get it. It hasn't been great. This was a massive year for Steve Kerr. This was probably the most important year in his career thus far as Warriors coach, as far as setting the tone for the next era or, wrapping it up and moving on. And I'm more inclined to think that he's going to move on with each coming loss than stay. And I keep hearing, if Steph wants him, he's going to stay. I don't know. That's on Steve Kerr. Maybe Steve Kerr doesn't want to stay here. We all keep thinking it's Joe Lacob that's going to fire him. I don't see that happening. Mike Dunleavy, no, I do not see that happening. Steph Curry and Steve Kerr been tied at the hip. Now, if Steph Curry ultimately wants to move on, they will listen. But I have a hard time seeing that happening. I think it's more likely that Steve Kerr is the one that chooses to move on. He's got USA basketball, obviously. We got the Olympics coming up in Paris this summer. He's got that to preoccupy him. And then maybe he takes a year off, does some broadcasting, does the Bob Myers route, and then picks things up, takes over the Spurs, what have you. Maybe. That's been widely speculated. But yesterday, you just look up and down, and I always like doing this because I never really look at the box score during the game, and it's always a treat when I come in and then just kind of dissect things, and some things are eye-opening, some are like, oh yeah, huh. So Jonathan Kuminga yesterday. 20 points, 9 of 18. A couple of those baskets late, just couldn't hit the three-point shot. Had some open looks, just couldn't hit them. Our caller calling about Corey Joseph getting 7 minutes. I don't know what to tell you there. You heard Steve Kerr the other day alluding to that rookie wall that Brandon Pajemski hit. Well, he's hitting it right now. He had 27 minutes off the bench, 4 of 12 shooting, 0-3 from beyond the arc. 4 assists. He had the 8 points, but again, if you're not going to have a Stephen Curry great performance night in and night out, it's going to be very tough for this team to win. Now, I like the assist numbers that I saw from Steph, 8 of them, because he has to fill that void with Chris Paul out. He's trying to get everyone involved. He's doing the best that he can. 11 and 20, but 3 of 9 from beyond the arc. It's not a great night from Steph. For his standards anyways. 26 not going to cut it. In a night like that, I needed like a 40 burger from Steph to win. But that's what it's come to. Night in and night out. I need a 35 to 40 point performance from Stephen Curry. Clay, 9 points. That's not going to get it done. God love you. Wiggins, not bad. 7 of 13, efficient. 16 points. It's Minnesota Wiggins performance right there. Saric, he showed up. I ain't mad at his performance. That's the guy who's probably going to be moved at the deadline, by the way, Dario Saric. More and more I look at it. He's a guy some other contender could use. Size, can hit the 3. Good bench player. What do you get for him? I don't know. Steiny was alluding to this yesterday with Steiny and Goo. Great to hear his voice, by the way. Love Steiny back. Love having Shasky back. But he was basically saying maybe you get like a late first rounder, something like that. Those are the kind of moves that he's looking for. But I don't know if there's a move this year and this upcoming trade deadline that changes everything, but you have got to start thinking about the future and next year. I mean, that's at the very least. I had some callers, I was screening some yesterday for Steiny and Goo. A couple of them still thought they were a championship team. Now, Can things change at the trade deadline? Sure. I keep hearing a lot of Warriors fans bring up last year with Rob Pelinka and the Lakers and moving off Westbrook, getting Vanderbilt, getting D'Angelo Russell, inserting Reeves in the starting lineup, and that changed everything, and they got to the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, but you know what? For as good as it was in the short term, in the long term, I don't know. I'm looking at that team right now in LA, and they're struggling just as much as the Warriors. Very inconsistent. They'll have a game here or there where they beat a really good team like the Warriors have done, beating the Celtics, right? Lakers just beat the Thunder last night. They've beaten some good teams. But the inconsistency. One step forward, two steps back. I'm seeing it with the Warriors, I'm seeing it with the Lakers, and I'm seeing it with the Suns. And a lot of that is just the lack of cohesion. A lot of different starting lineups. Darvin Ham, Frank Vogel, Steve Kerr, these guys can't get the right combinations, but that's also a product of having young guys mixed in with the veterans. Having a lot of overturn in the offseason. Paying a Bradley Beal or a Kevin Durant all this money, a Devin Booker, and then being thin everywhere else. So all these teams might have, a unique problem, but they're also similar in many ways. Aging superstars. Lack of cohesion. And going up against the young Bulls in the Western Conference, and not the Chicago Bulls. Speaking of which, disgusting behavior that I saw from the fans. I forgot to mention that on Monday. Ugh. Booing Jerry Krause's widow like that, Thelma. Ugh. Scumbag behavior. Be better. I'll try to be better this next segment. We're up against it. 888-957-9570. We're always trying to be better. Warriors got to be better. Eagles. Oh, God. Being better. They got to fire Sirianni. Bill Belichick? Huh? Jim Harbaugh, maybe? Over in Philly? Well, Belichick did visit an NFL team yesterday. I'll talk about who that was on the other side. Plus more of your phone calls, more of your texts. 888-957-9570. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. Come on back. 95.7 The Game.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years.
Welcome back. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. R.I.P. Tracks a Million. God, this beat's so hard. Sideshow 2006. All right. We're talking Warriors. We're talking Eagles losing 32-9. Just get absolutely destroyed against Todd Bowles, Baker Mayfield, Shad White, bounce tackle. Oh my God. I'm just watching the highlights still because it's in the studio. It's embarrassing. It was embarrassing. That might have been more embarrassing than the Cowboys loss. Like, the Eagles flat out quit. At least the Cowboys even tried to come back. Now, Dak ends up throwing a ball, the Hail Mary, that they needed like out of the end zone, so didn't really end up mattering, but the Eagles just flat out quit yesterday. And I can't say that about the Warriors, thankfully. We have not gone to those levels of quitting, anything like that, because this is a team that also had championship aspirations heading into the season. But nothing's working right now. Whether it's health, whether it's age, whether it's finding the right combination, whether it's, leaning on some of the rookies at times who are rookies, and shout out Brandon Pajemski, who's been pretty damn good this year. Even he is going to look like a rookie. And he has during this road trip. As the Warriors wrap up this road trip tomorrow, 6 o'clock right here, 95.7 The Game. You're home for Golden State Warriors basketball. Warriors Live starting at 5. But they're running into the hottest team in the league. And if you're listening to the broadcast last night, whether it's radio, on television with Bobby Fitz, Kalenda doing a hell of a job on NBC Sports Bay Area with our own Bonte Hill, who's going to be on with Joe Shasky here in about 30 minutes. But they kept hammering it down. He's like, yeah, you need to win this one because you're going to Utah and playing the best team in the league right now, just as far as who's the hottest. So you went from maybe, feeling like, oh, can we get a split on this road trip to now we just salvage it at all. Man, they got the one and lost to the Bucks. Now this, it's just, yeah. On to happier things. No one makes me happy at 888-957-9570 is talking playoff football. And also, what's going on with the coaching carousel around the league? Are you kidding me? Bill Belichick interviewing with the Atlanta Falcons? I don't know about that. Is Bill going down to Magic City? Who's he hanging out with down there? Oh, my God. Relax. Comcast Business text line. 650. Exactly my sentiments. Why are we still talking NBA? It's football playoffs, for Christ's sake. Well, 650. Got my area codes mixed up. We're the home of the Golden State Warriors, and they are kind of a big deal around here. And we are not used to seeing Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson being 4 games under 500. I mean, unless we were watching last season. And it's just this the new norm. But that is the reason. We'll talk NFL playoffs, trust me. Hey, we got all season, baby. These next few weeks, because I expect the 49ers to handle their business this Saturday. And they should. If they don't, it'd be a tremendous failure. Anything short of a Super Bowl appearance now for the San Francisco 49ers would be a disaster. A complete disaster. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Oh, it'd be so a good year, yeah. We got our quarterback. Yeah. Great. That means you would have either lost to Jordan Love this week or Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Now, the ultimate cynic, that's not somewhat biased because I watch the Niners every week with a fine-tooth comb. But the national perspective would be, well, the winner of the AFC is definitely going to win. I mean, just look at all the quarterbacks. And that might be true. If you're just going by quarterbacks between each conference, it's not even close who you're taking to win the Super Bowl. I got the pick of the litter. I got Lamar Jackson, who's going to be the MVP, now 2-time MVP. I got another 2-time MVP in Patrick Mahomes. And then I got Josh Allen, who's going to win an MVP at some point, you would think. And then I got, the Rookie of the Year, the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and might be a future MVP in this league, CJ Stroud, who, by the way, was in the MVP conversation at some points during this year. That's how great he has been and how efficient he has been. So you got those 4. Compare that to what I just referenced. And you're taking Brock Purdy, number 1. He's been a top 5 quarterback in the league this year. If you want to go top 10, fine. I think for the most part, he's been a top 5 quarterback. And then you got Jared Goff, who's been to a Super Bowl, won playoff games, some big ones, just last week, in fact. Baker Mayfield has won a playoff game, multiple now, for multiple teams. And now Jordan Love, who is 1-0. But if you're just going by the names on the back of the jersey, it's not even close. But you know what? Niners don't care about that. Brock Purdy doesn't care about that. He just wants to win a damn Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan just wants to win a damn Super Bowl. And right now, if we're just going by offense and defense, and from what I've seen from the playoffs thus far, I haven't seen a complete performance outside of, the Texans and the Chiefs. But even the Chiefs' offense at times in that game against Miami was inconsistent. Texans, I'll give them that. They just destroyed the Browns. Joe Flacco, 2 pick sixes. Defense was opportunistic. Derek Stingley Jr. is a baller. Nico Collins, a baller. CJ Stroud, all those guys. I'll give them that. But, I was watching the Bucs yesterday, and I know they won 32-9. That offense, Baker Mayfield, we'll see. Heading into Detroit, I'll give them a chance. But could you imagine Detroit versus San Francisco? I'm just looking aesthetically. And I know everyone's telling me, Spadoni, relax, pump your brakes. Just can we focus on this week, please? Well, I still got 3 days to talk about this game this week. So right now, I'm focusing on the future. And the future is bright for the 49ers if they don't stub their toes. All you got to beat is Jared Goff Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love. Those guys right there. That's what you got to beat. It cannot be easier for Kyle Shanahan and co. Go out there and take it. We're going to take this break. Come on back. One more second before leading it off to Morning Roast. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky. They're on the other side. Brian Baldinger at 7:30. Come on back. It's a pregame show, 95.7 The Game.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how?
Yeah, get that outlet in the middle, Joe. There you go, right here. You got it. Joe Shasky. He's fired up. He said he's dressed, and I'm going to tease it. I'm not going to say what he's wearing, but he says he's dressed for a funeral occasion today. That can only mean one thing. We heard he eviscerated the Cowboys yesterday and Jerry Jones. And by the way, the amount of uhs and ums from Jerry Jones from his end of season presser. The fact that he has a presser, by the way, is just... but the amount of ums, he was just in total shock that his team got eviscerated that badly. Was anyone surprised by the Eagles game last night, though? I was talking about it here yesterday. I was like, I would not be shocked. In fact, I think I liked Tampa more and more as the game went on, the week went on. Eagles were just broken. Mentally, physically, and that's thanks to the San Francisco 49ers and what Deebo Samuel did to them. Just absolutely snatching their soul a la Shang Tsung. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all you lovely people. If you're just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, appreciate you choosing the pregame show. And you can also hit us up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. TJ Montas, as we continue to talk Dubs, as Draymond Green returned to the floor yesterday. Yeah, Draymond came back. But TJ Montas on the chat, if you sang just play the young guys, then you're admitting you're not a championship material. I think that's a conversation for the chat, but I think it's a large sentiment from a lot of Warriors fans where it's like, hey, man, the writing's on the wall. We're not winning a championship this year. Let's see what we got with a lot of the young guys. If we got to make some trades, clear up some caps, space, and go after a big fish this summer, I think that's the move. Now, there's that section. There's also a part of the fan base that says, you know what? I still believe in this team. I still believe in the guy. Now, I think this is getting smaller and smaller with every loss, but there's still some fans out there that believe this is a championship team. And I understand when you have Stephen Curry, when you have Klay Thompson, you have Draymond Green, you feel invincible. You feel like you could take on anyone. And on a given night, that might be true. But on a night where you had Steph Curry, you had Klay Thompson, you had Draymond Green, you had Andrew Wiggins, you had Kevon Looney. And I know they weren't all starting. Sharch was in the starting lineup. No Draymond. Off the bench. 24 minutes for him. 7 points. 4 assists. Steal. 7 boards. All right. But you go out there on MLK Day and lay an egg like that against a team that's trying to tank in the Memphis Grizzlies. They're done. They're a lottery team now. No Ja. Desmond Bane's now out. No Marcus Smart. They want to be a lottery team. They want to find someone that they can pair with Ja Morant and be a factor in this Western Conference. Because you know what? You got to have a duo. You got to have a duo in the Western Conference. It just is what it is. You look at the standings right now as I pull them up here. Timberwolves, 28-11. Class of the conference. Who do they got? They got a trio, really, if you want to toss in Gobert. I won't do that. Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns. Thunder. You want to go Shea? You want to go Giddey? You want to go Chet Holmgren? You got the Torture Chamber. Nuggets, we know who that is. Jamal Murray. Nikola Jokic. And they got depth galore in size. Clippers. Paul George, Kawhi. Kings, Sabonis Barnes. Mavericks, the 6th spot. Luka, Kyrie. Pelicans. Yes, the Pelicans, who are the 7th spot right now. Who they got? Zion, Brandon Ingram. Sounds like a theme here. Suns, KD, Booker, Beal. Jazz. Lauri Markkanen. They got my guy over. Sexton still there? Caught me. I'm not watching a lot of Jazz basketball. I'm just not. But that's a team that's hot. But they're also, the 9th spot. And then you get to the Lakers, we're the 10th. They're struggling with old man LeBron and AD. Finally woke up yesterday, beat Thunder. And then you start getting to the Rockets. They're fading a little bit now. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They just got destroyed yesterday against the Sixers. You got the Warriors. And they got the Grizzlies right below them, and then the Blazers. Like, you have to have a duo in this league. And if it's not going to be Clay, and it's not going to be Draymond, you'd have hoped it was Wiggins. That boat has sailed. Then you have to go all in this summer. That's what that means. So how do you do that? You got to clear up cap space. How do you do that? Trade away players. Bring back players on expiring contracts. One of those contracts you're looking to get off, Andrew Wiggins. Hey, keep having nights like you had last night. It's kind of hollow, just whatever. What was his final stat line? 7 to 13, 16 points? Yeah. Keep doing that. Be pedestrian at the very least. Average. Give me that. And you can move off of it. But we're approaching, 3 weeks from the trade deadline? Come this Thursday? I still have no idea what Mike Dunleavy's going to do. None. Zero. Zilch. What he's going to do. It's kind of exciting. It is. In a weird, twisted way. I know it's not exciting for Warriors fans, but you'll have action. For good or for bad, you will have action. Last year, you got rid of James Wiseman, brought back Gary Payton. Thought you had Sadiq Bey there for a second. Okay. That was a big move for Bob Myers at the trade deadline. Just to give you some idea of what it was like. Because they don't have to, make huge moves. They have not been in this situation during this run, during this dynasty, if you will. Things change. Not everything lasts forever. Going back to, Bill Belichick in New England. Now he's gone. He's moving on. Pete Carroll, gone out of Seattle. Nick Saban, gone out of Alabama. Hell, Mike Tomlin might be gone from Pittsburgh. We're talking about quarterbacks for Green Bay in consecutive, generations. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and it might be Jordan Love next. That's a lot of pressure putting on the kid. But you know what? He's 1-0 in the playoffs. He looked pretty damn good doing it on the road when they are heavy underdogs. So his trajectory right now is sky high. Think about that with the Steelers from their head coaches. Was it Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin? You kidding me? Sustained excellence, every one of those guys winning a Super Bowl. It's unbelievable. But even that comes to an end at some point. And it's hard for us to wrap our minds around it. Because sustained excellence in sports is the hardest thing to have. And even past that is sustained excellence in different generations. The greatest of the great franchises do it. You're seeing it with the Lakers. Won a championship in damn near every decade I've been born. Since I've been born. I've been born in every decade. Yankees. You want to go Red Sox the last 2 decades. You want to go Patriots, obviously, a little unique because it was the same guy. Same tandem. You want to go hockey. You want to go the Penguins, the Red Wings, in the way back. Certain franchises have been able to, stand the test of time throughout decades. And part of that is the ownership, a huge part of it, obviously. Because it always starts from the top down as we talk about the show. With Joe Lacob, he's a no-nonsense guy. He wants to win, and he wants to win badly. Just go back to the interview we had with Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky before the season. He wants to win, and he wants to win badly. He did one of those. Banging his fist on the table. Well, part of winning and setting up for the future might be to lose now. I'm not saying tank, But I said they're going to have to take their lumps at some point. And maybe, just maybe, this is the year to do it. Right? You know, you thought you had to run it back last year, and you did. You won a title. How would it have looked if Draymond Green had punched Jordan Poole in the face? Might have looked different. Who knows? Maybe we're talking about Nuggets Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. And if they can get back, they have a good chance about beating the Heat. But that didn't happen that way. So now Jordan Poole's gone. Draymond's extended. And now it's not working. So do you just start moving off the pieces now? Take your L's. Try to get a good pick this year. I'm not saying tank completely, but you know what? It wouldn't be the worst thing. It would not be the worst thing. Although, was it top 4 protected? So don't be too bad. Just something to think about. Keep in the back of your mind, if the losses start piling up, something to think about. Also something to think about. This Christian McCaffrey signed jersey behind me, it's going to be given away at some point. And you have 3 opportunities to qualify to win today, tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. So 12 total chances to qualify to win the Christian McCaffrey signed jersey. Your first opportunity is next on the Morning Roast, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.